Hello, everybody, and welcome to DarfTalks. I'm here with Mr. Malbs himself, the newest member of G2, and actually, this is on the subject of G2. This is the second time we've talked in 2 days because we did this interview yesterday, and I somehow bungled the settings and had no audio for Malbs. So we're doing it again. He has very, very, very kindly agreed to come back and do it 2 days in a row. So thank you so much, Malbs, for that. How you doing today?
First of all, you're welcome, man. Thanks for the invitation again. The second time. But I'm chilling. Really good. Doing really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We talked about it yesterday, but you're leaving on Friday to go to a boot camp to join your new
Yes,
team.
sir.
Is it getting real? Is it feeling real?
Yeah, now it is. Like 2 weeks ago, it wasn't feeling real at all, but now I'm gonna get to meet the boys.
It's exciting times.
Yeah, it is.
Before we dive into that, actually, have you met? I mean, I know you played them in Pro League twice, but have you really had any interactions with the G2 crews
No,
apart from video
not
calls?
really. Only with Das once in Dallas. We were with Amady, we went to the player launch.
Yeah.
And he was playing FIFA with the G2's manager. And he was joking with me because my laugh is kind of loud and
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
So he was making fun of me because I was super annoying on the match against them, that I was laughing a lot, and so he was being funny with me.
Well, I mean, I guess your laugh or your land demeanor has earned you some moments in the past. Shoutouts to Warden, his water bottle, right?
Yeah, shut.
One of the stranger moments of the last year of Counter Strike, I'd
Yeah,
say.
that's true.
Um, no, let's dive back into it. We started with M80. We'll start with M80 again here. I want to get your thoughts on it. Lessons that you're taking away from your time on M80 from this last year as part of that squad that you're taking forward with you. What's sort of the note that you're taking away from that time?
It was a really good time. I enjoyed every single moment with the boys. Um, I don't know, it was a really good team, a really good group, and I'm super thankful to them for giving me the opportunity to play with them since the beginning, and it was insane. I enjoyed actually every single practice, every single day, every single travel day, everything. It was insane. For that, I always wanted to play with an American team, and I never thought it was gonna be them, and I actually enjoyed every single moment with them.
I saw one thing that just occurred to me is I saw Swisher in his response to your exit tweet said, "I'm still sad you didn't join a Bad News Bears team back in the day." How close were you to joining Bad News Bears at any point in history?
I was super close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Team 1, and there were some things happening in Team 1 that I was gonna ask to leave my contract.
Okay.
And I didn't do it because I didn't want to play for an orgless team. But I was just a message away about telling Team 1 that I wanted to leave.
Damn. Because
Yeah.
I know obviously you're close with Swisher now, but I think you were before, and I know Sheikh Zula's always wanted to play with you.
Yeah, the
Mr.
Zula.
Hardeman himself, the Mike Rula. Um, no, it's nice. It's been really cool to see you guys gel as a unit over the last year over on the M80 camp, to see the chemistry that you guys have had. I run into you in quite a few events actually. Like Atlanta was one that springs to mind immediately, but Dallas, a lot of different events, just crossing paths with you guys and getting to
Yeah.
check in. And it is always, you can always tell when a team likes each other, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, we were such a good group. It was insane. We were always trolling each other. I don't know. From everyone, I never thought that Rory was gonna be as nice as he is.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was gonna be. Yeah, he's super nice. He's such a nice guy. He's always making fun of everyone, just making laughs, and just, I don't know, insane. I like everyone from that team.
It's a good
I'm gonna
crew.
miss them. Yeah, I'm gonna miss
Rory
them.
is deaf, by the way, for anyone who might not be familiar. I see.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned it yesterday, but you've got your memento as well on the door, the M80 door tag from Dallas that you're taking with you going forward. Um, what do you think of the squad? The other thing that's come out since yesterday when we talked is that Lake is joining them at least for the Esports World Cup, if not going forward. What do you think of Lake as a player?
Um, I don't know if he's actually joining them. I don't know. It's just a report, But
Well, the roster's locked yesterday, so I think he's confirmed for that one event. I don't know if it's anything more going
oh,
forward.
then yeah. So since back then, I've seen Lake do some good things. Like I remember even telling Swisher that I think he was good. Like a long time ago,
Hmm.
I was like, oh, this guy has the moves. Like you can tell when someone can go further. You know.
Yeah.
So I was like, Mike, I think this guy's good. And yeah, apparently he's good. I haven't seen much of him, but I don't know. I think it's like a gamble
Hmm.
because he's inexperienced and he's gonna be playing my roles, I guess. And yeah, he's gonna have a lot of pressure. And having that pressure for a new guy is terrible because I've been there before. And yeah, I don't know, but I hope they do good. Like I'm always cheering for them.
Hmm.
I'm, but it's just I hope that people don't go super hard on him and don't expect a lot from him. They just need to support him and just be patient,
Yeah.
because it takes time. Like making that jump from just a, a bunch of seasons of MDL to actually going to Europe and now he's going to Riyadh playing against top teams. It's gonna be hard. He's gonna be nervous and everything. So I hope people are not just gonna be hating on him if he performs bad because yeah, it's his opportunity and if he's there, he deserves it. And yeah,
Yeah.
but I just hope he does good so my boys do good too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is kind of interesting because when we were talking about it yesterday, right before, either you, I don't know if you knew who was coming in, but I don't think either of us did. Um, you were saying that you might have known, but you were saying that you hope that they'd maybe get somebody that would actually maybe play more of a supportive element and allow Swisher to shift into a lot of your roles of being a little bit more featured, and a little bit more star power.
But I asked Mike if they were gonna get, or I mean, I asked Mike if he was gonna play my roles now that I'm gone.
Okay.
And he said he wasn't sure, but probably they're gonna keep him in his role, and they're gonna get like an aggro rifler to play my roles. So I don't know. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it works. I mean, you've certainly been in the position of being the young guy moving up, and for Lake, it's a pretty substantial jump from any roster that he's been part of in the past in terms of expectation, in terms of caliber of event. Um, and I think it'll be interesting to see. But I also think that provides us a nice segue. Because you're making a jump up, you're making a move on up the rungs, the caliber of competition. You're going to G2. You are announced as a member of the G2 Esports roster. Very exciting, top end team. What was the timeline of when you found out they were interested?
It was really fast. Like I found out on May 29th. It was right after the heroic game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. And my agent messaged me, and I was like, "Are you trolling me right now, or are you being serious?" And he was like, "Nah, I'm being serious. They're really interested in you." And when he said it, they are really interested in you. I'm like, "What just happened?" You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really fast. I don't know. Like, I was expecting some offers to come my way, but out of every possible team that I had in my mind to give me an offer, I never thought about G2. So that's why I was like, "Are you trolling me or what?"
And I mean, when we talked about it yesterday as well, you were saying it was you had basically committed back into M80, saying like you wanted to stick around. This is what you wanted to be a part of, and then it's like the offer you never imagined would come through comes through.
Yeah, because when the talks with G2 were going on, I didn't tell you this yesterday, but there was an offer that I knew was gonna come,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably obvious what offer it was. And they were like, "We're interested in this guy," but my agent was like, "Okay, this guy has another tier 1 offer,
Mm-hmm.
so if you want to get him, show the money, you know?" So I think they just gave up or something because they didn't hear anything else.
mm. Mm.
Yeah, but it was kind of obvious, and I was like, I told the guys, I even told Rory, this is I told you yesterday. If these guys come for me, I will say no for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that in my mind, but G2 came by, and I'm like, yeah. And I kept it as a secret until the MDL final. They didn't know that I was moving on from them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I kept it as a secret because I like I'm just a good friend, man. I just wanted to win with them,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to put the mood in a bad way, kind of.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want them to be thinking about like, oh, this is fuck, this guy's gonna leave us anyway, you know, and we're gonna have to be finding a new player or anything. So I wanted to like focus on the last games of the season with the boys and just not making them think anything about anything, you know, just
Mm-hmm.
making them play. And yeah, that was sad because we beat Wildcard in the MDL final, and then 5 minutes after we won, I was like, I need to talk to you guys, and I was like, yeah, you two offered me, and I'm gonna take it. It seems like it's everything is done, and I'm going to G2. It was sad, and I just because Snax sits next to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember his face like when I said, "Guys, I need to talk to you." He was like, "Oh no, what happened?"
No. I feel like
Yeah,
that's like the golden ticket, though. Like that's the offer where they're like, "What? You leaving?" And then it's like, "Oh, yeah, no, you
you're
you
leaving.
you got to take that." Like,
Yeah, yeah,
um, yeah. I mean, it is a, as you said, like not the offer you would have expected necessarily. When I heard the rumors starting to crop up, and I think I was hearing it in Jönköping and whatnot. It was like, holy shit. And then I'm hearing like, yeah, no, it's done. It's like, oh, what? Oh my god.
yeah.
Um,
That was the crazy part, man. He got leaked super bad. I don't know what happened. He
mhm.
got leaked really fast,
Yeah, it
and
did.
everything got leaked. I don't know how.
Uh,
Everything.
NA teams, man. The
I
word
don't
gets
know what
out there.
happened.
People like to talk. People like to talk. That what I am curious about, because I mean, usually I feel like when there's player leaks, it comes from players, but you're pretty tight-lipped about these things. So
Yeah, and like we won the MDL final. It was Sunday,
yeah,
and the report came out Monday, and I'm like, what? That was fast.
Dust to US. They got quick fingers. They got quick fingers on it. Um, Speaking of the Dust 2 report, when the Dust 2 report came out, they also quoted your potential buyout. Um, and we talked about this a bit yesterday, but I wanna hear from you again. Is just like what a buyout means from your end, right? Because the reported number was 500,000. Um, and that is just, it's like an astonishing amount of money to think about. And so it's like, what as a player, first off, when you're like, okay, I want this move to happen, but this insane amount of money needs to move for it to happen. And then also, like, what as a player does it mean for you when you hear those numbers being thrown around?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because, as I told you, it's like 50-50. It's
Yeah.
gonna motivate you because it means that you're worth this amount of money and people see you and they see some potential in you.
Yeah.
But once you start doing bad or like that, that's me. I'm not gonna be doing my roles, for example, not all the roles I'm doing in M80, and I'm not gonna do them in G2. I'm gonna do some roles I did, some others not. So let's say I'm not playing well, and then I'm gonna be getting a lot of hate because G2 has a lot of followers, and also not only followers, just haters from HO TV. They're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this guy fucking sucks. How did G2 pay this amount of money for this guy?" And they see as Lul, you know? So it's tough. Like it can be a motivation, but it can also be like a lot of pressure, which is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think that, this is also just a substantial jump up from you for you in terms of spotlight. As you said, there's a lot of fans, there's a lot of haters, there's a lot of attention and focus. And it is a team where, the expectation is championships. The expectation is trophies. The team is meant to compete at the absolute highest level. And so what are you thinking about that? What are you thinking about those expectations, about that spotlight?
Ah, insane. Like as we talked yesterday,
Yeah.
like my highest expectations were to make playoffs at tier 1 events. Now the lowest expectation is to make playoffs. So it's hard, but it's nice too. Like getting the chance of potentially winning championships is insane.
Yeah. It's like, as a player, the whole idea is win games, win trophies. But
Yeah,
it's like the comparison is almost, it's like F1, right? Where like some people are in slower cars and your expectation is different. And then you get into the fast cars and it's like, okay, time to win trophies now. But only one team can win any individual trophy. But that's got to feel so crazy cool thinking, looking at this next calendar. And instead of it being like, okay, we're going to get this Euro trip and then we're going to be back and, maybe we get to go to this event and we're going to boot camp in between these events. And like, maybe we make playoffs at this one. It's like, okay, which one of these could we win a trophy at, kind of thing. It's just how does that, like, looking at the calendar, looking at the events you have coming up, is that just completely changing the way you're approaching it?
yeah. I'm just so thankful to finally leave MDO. My God.
No more NAs. Yeah. No
Yeah.
more MDL, baby.
Oh my God. This last season was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, the BO2s.
Yeah, and also we trolled with our calendar, so we had to go to Europe, then come back to play MDO matches, then go back to Europe, then come back to play playoffs. So it was tough. But yeah, it's insane. Like no more MDO matches in my calendar is like, woo! That's how you know I made it.
I remember that was a big one for Ricky, for Floppy, when he made it to Complexity. It was like, no more ECL, no more MDL. We're free.
Yeah. I remember a video from him back then saying that he had like 11 seasons of MDL.
Yeah. Yeah. Oof. Is the grind, man. It's the NA grind. I mean, you've been doing it. You were
Yeah.
doing it in T1 for years. You're doing it in M80. It's the jump up. It's the jump to that next step. And now you're going to be living in Europe as well, right? In Serbia.
Yeah, in Serbia, yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. We talked about it a bit yesterday, but it's kind of it's going to be a change, right? In terms of when you were with M80, were you living in the team house for good chunks of the year? How often were you home?
Um, I I was home quite a bit because since the beginning I was like, can I come back home when we don't have important matches? And they were like, yeah, but if we want a boot camp or if we're playing MDL playoffs, for example, we want you
Mm-hmm.
in Texas with the boys, so you have low ping. And I'm like, sure, okay. And I was there, but we were normally at Airbnbs because they're gonna make uh an office. I think they're in the
Okay.
process of it, but they don't have it ready yet, and so we were in Airbnbs because of that.
I
But it was fine.
remember seeing,
Yeah.
like, it was like a neon, like, live laugh love sign on the wall or something whenever we had team shots of you guys. Just a neon pink sign.
Oh yeah, that was the last Airbnb. Yeah, we were in a yoga room or something.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was like a yoga room for the house.
You doing a little hot yoga in between games? Get the PCs to heat
But
it
we
up.
converted it into gaming room.
That's the true gaming mentality. Yoga, get out of here. CS.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so when you were with Team One, were you living in the Vegas house, or were you also going back home pretty frequently?
No, I was living in the Vegas house.
Okay, so this isn't your
Yeah.
first time sort of being long term away from home, because I mean, at this point, you leave Friday. It's gonna be like December before you're back, right?
Mhm. Yeah. This is not my first time for sure. That's what I told G2 once they were talking to me. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of used to that because in Team One I was most of the time not even close home
Mm-hmm.
because we were in Brazil or Europe or then we were going to Vegas. So I was really out of home.
But first time in Europe, right? Full time.
Yeah, full time. Yeah.
You looking forward to it?
Ah, yeah. I don't. I'm not a Europe guy, but I have to do it now.
Yeah, well, you were mentioning yesterday you're maybe not the most adventurous eater.
Yeah, I'm super picky with it. Mostly vegetables.
I'm sure we can find something. I think based on what I've seen of Serbian cuisine, it's a lot of like grilled meat skewers.
Hmm.
So I think we
Yeah,
can get you something going there.
for sure. Yeah, gotta be something.
We get Yanko's food recommendations. I think that's
I
the
gotta
move.
learn how to cook too.
Yeah, well, there you go. You're,
I only I only know how to cook cereal and sandwiches. That's the only thing I
this
can cook.
this is the next evolution. Getting
Yeah.
growing up a little bit, moving away from home, getting learning how to cook. That's the growth period. I mean, this is a good time to point out that you are still so very young as well. We touched on this yesterday, but you've been competing for so dang long. It almost feels like, you should be older than you are, but you're just 21. So in terms of
Yeah,
being an
that's
adult,
crazy.
learning how to cook and things like that, I didn't figure that out when I was 21. I think 23, 24 was probably when I could actually cook something nice without burning it.
Yeah.
Does it feel like this is still very much like the beginning of the journey?
It is. Yeah. Like I told you before, yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
I thought about retiring after Team One. I had an offer for they're not in CS anymore, so I was gonna go to EG Black.
Ah, okay.
And I rejected it because I was like, I don't want to be in an academy team. And then I went back to Team One. And then after Team One, I didn't have any offers
Mm-hmm.
until M80. And I was like, it might be done. And I even thought about going to Valorant. Thank God I didn't. Thank God I didn't.
uh,
When I play, I'm a little bit toxic. 'Cause I might have been canceled if I switched to Valorant.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Valorant gets the rage juices flowing.
Yeah.
I can understand, when you're standing on site and then 47 bright lights go flying through the door. Um,
Yeah.
that one's a bit of a tough one. Yeah, I mean, it is crazy to think about how different things might have been, either if you'd taken that EG spot or if obviously switched games or decided to retire. You're saying yesterday
Yeah.
that you were talking to somebody after sort of the 0-0 Nation disaster a little bit. You're talking to one of your friends who said like things happen for a reason.
Yeah. That's true. I think that's what's making me ready for this opportunity because I'm gonna be grown up a little bit, more
Mm-hmm.
mature and everything. But yeah, about the EG Black thing, most people told me, even Swisher told me that it it might have been me being moved up to the main team instead of Hex, for example, or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I rejected it, and no, actually Hex was already moved up, I think.
Yeah.
So it would have been instead of George because I was gonna be instead of George,
Okay. I
and then
got you
they
then.
trialed George, and he stayed, and then they moved him up.
I gotcha. It would have been
Yeah.
interesting. Would have been interesting to see what that timeline looks like. I don't know that it would have like That EG team was I don't know that anyone was fixing them. There were problems,
Yeah,
and I don't think they had anything to do with any one player.
it was
Uh,
funny because the trials, um, I was not using my Steam account. I was in a Smurf, so people didn't know who it was.
okay.
But then, like, my playstyle is very unique, and when someone pulls out a deagle and hits two one digs out of nowhere, it's like, this is Malbs. And then we were streaming ATK. It was against Swisher and Ian, MOTM, and
Yeah,
they were typing to me like, Malbs, or is it you? And I'm like, hey man, like I had 70 ping, and I was hitting one digs, and they were like, yeah, this is you, motherfucker.
Is that kind of cool to have such iconic dig shots or such an iconic playstyle that like you can't even really smurf if it's people who know what it's like to play
Yeah.
against you?
Yeah, it's funny. 70 ping guy in his Murph account hitting one digs. Who else could it be?
Who else, indeed? That's an awesome story. Back onto the G2 move a little bit. Joining this team, we talked about the championship ambitions, the fact that the expectation here is a lot higher. But who are you excited about playing with? What are you excited about doing in terms of the move? In terms of who's going to be on the team with you? I mean, it's we know who 3 of your teammates are going to be, right? The 5th will remain a mystery, I guess, for the moment. I was hoping it would be announced today so I could ask you about it, but
Yeah.
they're baiting me. What are you excited about?
Everything, I would say. Like, those 3 guys are insane individually and everything. Also playing with Nico and Modesty, 2 legends of the game. The baby goat and the old goat. And then you have Taz coaching, and it's like a dream for me.
Yeah.
And even for my friends, they're like, because my friends used to play 1.6 with me back then, and they were like, dude, do you realize what's happening right now? You're gonna play with Nico, Modesty, Hunter, and you're gonna be coached by this guy. You remember watching this guy? And we were like, yeah, of course I remember. And it's like it's an insane feeling. And I was even talking to Taz. I mentioned it to him back then, like in 2016 or something, 2017-ish. I don't remember when
Mm-hmm.
his video came out, his player profile. I used to tell my dad that I wanted to be pro, like I wanted to be in this top tier teams. And then one night, I showed him Taz player profile, and we were both watching it. And then I told that to Taz, and he was like, "Oh no way, that's crazy! What a coincidence!" And it was insane. And then I was back home, and I had a meeting with Taz, and then Taz was like, "Hey, say hi to your dad for me." And my dad was right here in the living room,
Yeah.
and I was like, and I called him here to talk to Taz, and he was super excited, and he was super emotional. He was almost crying. I was like, "Oh, I wanted to cry too," you know?
That's a touching moment, man.
Yeah.
That's got to be crazy. I mean, we touched on it yesterday as well of like, you've had this pinned tweet for a long time that's like, I want to make my dad proud of me. And like this move it's kind of a
Yeah.
realization of that dream, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the beginning of it.
That's crazy. Wow. All right. We talked about it yesterday. I'm gonna ask again. I know you won't give me any secrets, but there's another spot in G2 that's open, right? Hooksy got announced as leaving yesterday. There was some speculation about that. When people were looking at role overlap, it's like it doesn't really make sense to keep all of these 5. It would seem to indicate that something's going on there. We don't know who your 5th is going to be yet. But I'm gonna ask the question: is Nico IGLing? He was baiting on Twitter yesterday too. He's having some fun with it. Is he IGLing?
Mr. Captain. What can I say? Maybe. Yes, no. All of the above.
Secrets. All right. Keep your secrets. But we can talk about the roles, right? Because we may not know who the 5th is coming in, but presumably we talked about it yesterday, so I know. What am I pretending? We're having this conversation twice. You have some idea of what your roles are going to be, and you've had some conversations, with the staff over there about what the idea is, what the vision is. What are you thinking about? What space you're going to be taking? What roles you might have, what roles you might not have. How are you feeling about where you're going to be playing? You mentioned earlier you're going to be moving off of a lot of your spots. But what do you think of it?
What is gonna be changing the most for me is gonna be CT side because I'm
Mhm.
gonna be playing like these big side. I'm gonna be the big side anchor technically, so like a Mirage, um, let's say A on Ancient, which is more like a hard anchor, but not as much as other maps. But it's gonna be like 50-50.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I'm not gonna be playing those star roles I had in M80 for CT side, but I'm gonna be like that entry guy on T side, and also Hunter was super nice to me when he first talked to me, and he even sent me a message that if I had any questions or whatever I needed, I could message him, and he was super nice. But he said that he was gonna give up some roles for me, comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be taking some roles I had, and I even think I'm gonna keep my mid spot on Ancient, as I was really good at it.
Yeah.
I don't know how, I don't know what happened, but I was I was good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. Just a little bit. I think they might have felt that one. They might have felt that one pretty
Yeah.
hard in the server.
I don't know. I got a lot of entries on that part of the map, and I don't even know how I did it, but
That's the
I don't
magic of
know.
the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I did ask yesterday. I am curious about this. I'm really curious from their side if it literally was like in those pro league games, they were like, "Look, we got to get this guy." Like if somebody in the G2 staff after those pro league games was like, "I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we have to get this guy."
Um, I don't really know much about it, but I think it obviously was part of it.
Yeah.
Like I farmed him, but I think it was my season, man. Like I
Yeah.
had such a good season. Sadly, we didn't make it to the major because that's all that was left. Technically, we played Katowice, we played Pro League, we played everything that we could, but not the major. We're a round away, man. I'm never gonna forget that.
I
But
know.
um,
With a stand-in, with a coach, a
yeah, shout out
manager.
to Rory, 1210, Ancient. He's gonna understand this. He was a meme on the team.
Yeah. His 12-10
Yeah,
game on Ancient.
swinging mid by himself.
He was, he had some maps. He had some maps. Even in Kato, he had like
Yeah,
one map. We pulled him on the desk and we threw up a graphic that was just him with a chef's hat, and it was just like, yes, chef, because he was cooking. He had some maps,
yeah.
man. Rolled back the years.
I was always trolling him about that round, and he used to get mad a little bit, but it's just trolling.
Yeah.
But he did good. Like I'm super thankful to Rory because he actually used it in after like 3 years of not playing CS, and then when he came back to CS was coach, and then he had a stand-in for Katowice and the RMR, which are not like MDL, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. Not easy.
Yeah, and then we were close to making the major with Rory, and then we almost upset Gamer Legion with Rory
Hmm.
without much practice because we didn't even know Manx was gonna leave us until 1 week before Katowice. And we were in Katowice already, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not going." And already had to hop into the server, and yeah, that's how it is.
That's
That's
how
what
it is.
happened. But he
It
did good. I'm super thankful to Rory. It was fun to play with him.
it was a good one. I mean,
Seeing the
hey,
old man back in the server.
look, Taz had to dust off the mouse in Blast. You never know when it's gonna
Yeah,
happen again. Um, but I mean, to your point about your season, we were talking about yesterday. You were actually, if you filter HLTV for all maps played over the last 6 months, you are the highest rated player in the world.
yeah, it's insane.
It's kind of spicy.
I've heard some stuff about me just farming stats in an A, and it doesn't even make sense. I barely played in an A. And if I played in an A, I was playing qualifiers or MDL,
Yeah.
which MDL is a stat farming league if you're good. But then I was playing qualifiers against Liquid, and I was getting my stats anyway, so I don't know why people were talking shit about me.
All I know is you shut them up real quick if you keep doing it in G2 in
Yeah,
Europe.
I'm not even focusing about it. I'm just trying to do my own.
Yeah.
I need to learn a lot too because I haven't played Anchor since Team 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a new game, so I don't know. Playing Anchor in CS2 is gonna be hard. People swinging on you and you're dead.
The trick is if you just swing them first, they can't swing you.
Yeah, that has been my trick since CS2.
Yeah.
I watched Dunk play, and yeah, that is a secret.
Have
They're gonna
you
swing. Okay, you swing back.
have you got the donk slide down? You feeling good about the donk slide?
Yeah, I got the technique.
All right. The
Yeah, I'm swinging, crouch. Ooh, okay, dead. Swing
I
back
know
again. Crouch.
you were mentioning that when you were talking to Taz about roles before coming over when you were talking to G2 that you were like the only thing is just don't have me jump spotting on Mirage.
Yeah, that was the first thing I said. He was like, "What do you feel about anchoring again?" And I'm like, this guy watched my Team 1 demos. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine anchoring A Mirage, for example, but don't leave me jump spotting Van on B.
Yeah.
Because I did it on Team 1 and I'm like, oh no, not again. But yeah, he was like, nah, we're not gonna do that. We're not stupid. We're gonna put you in on we need some firepower.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. This is again we've had all these conversations yesterday, but this one I think is a big one, which is looking at this team, looking at the aspirations of this team. If we're looking back a year from now on this first year of malbs and G2, what does success look like? That at the end of the year you're gonna be happy.
Um, at least I want to have 2 titles under my belt. You know?
I love
I
this
told you
answer.
this yesterday.
I know.
Yeah.
I love this answer.
Yeah, and as I told you, I don't want to be expecting a lot from the team, so I'm not gonna be like, all right, in this short amount of time, we're not gonna win a major. So I'm being realistic.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen, but it's better if I think that it cannot happen because then it might happen, because I'm not expecting a lot. I'm gonna be chill, I'm gonna be relaxed, and I'm not gonna have a lot of pressure about like, oh, I have to win this major, because otherwise I'm not gonna succeed my expectations. So yeah, it would be insane to win the major, but I wouldn't be sad if I get semifinals, for example, or even making it to the final, whatever. But I just want to be realistic
Mm-hmm.
and not over expect things because that's how I get frustrated. That has been my secret for a long time.
Yeah. You mentioned that this was something that you sort of
Yeah,
in the like the team 1 days was like learning to manage expectations.
yeah, because I remember that was the tough moment. It wasn't 0-0 Nation. I was like, okay, we have an insane team.
Yeah.
We have insane players. And we beat Liquid at 16-7. Oh fuck, we got 1-3 on the RMR. Oh no. Yeah, so that's what I learned. Just don't over expect things because they might not happen. So you might be ready for them to not happening to other than not being ready that they cannot happen and then be frustrated about it.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting to think about the majors as well because I mean you reminded me of this yesterday, but you don't actually have a sticker. Um,
Yeah.
you made the major once, but it was the one where they didn't do player stickers, right?
No, I've never played a major.
No. What
Never.
didn't you make it through? Was it that one random package where they did stickers for teams, but it was during the COVID?
Yeah, that was a shit show
Yeah.
because it was with Team 1 and then we were qualified
Yeah.
because EG and someone else, I think it was 100 Thieves, made changes. But out of
Right.
nowhere,
Oh, and it
Valve,
was all
yeah,
rankings.
and then Valve out of nowhere came by and said, "Oh, the changes were made after the events, so the points were not gonna be removed from these teams." So we were sixth, and we were supposed to be fourth, and they were only giving stickers to the first and 5th. Yeah, but it was only for the team anyway.
Well, time for the first Malb sticker to
Yeah,
be G2 Malbs, man.
it's gonna be insane, and that's what I was telling my friends. Like, I even told you this yesterday, right? So,
Yeah.
like, boys, from not having a sticker to potentially winning the major, I would be like FNX. No, no Malbs, no major.
No Malbs, no major. Why not? I mean, that is the aspiration of a team like G2, right? Like, is win
Yeah,
majors, lift trophies.
for sure.
That's what has eluded Nico. You might be the final X factor. Um,
Maybe.
it's exciting, man. It's an exciting
Yeah.
prospect.
I'd be like, hey, Nico, I Guatemalan got your major in ACS.
I mean, look, there's one in NA. Austin Major,
Yeah,
you know? Hometown crowd, we'll get it.
that would be sick.
I mean, G2's got, finally, Nico has fond memories of an NA crowd after Dallas, you know?
Yeah.
Lift another trophy on NA soil. Be exciting prospect. Um, let's see. Before I let you go, I'm keeping you long on this one. Where you somehow have more to say despite the fact that we already covered stuff yesterday, and I appreciate it.
I've thought about more things to say now.
I appreciate it, man. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge about this team, about this move up,
Mm,
about this next season?
I would say the biggest challenge is getting ready or getting good at my new roles,
Yeah,
and also getting to, how can I say it? Like, getting ready for the pressure of the team. Even though Tass told me that I don't need to be thinking about pressure, it's true, but you cannot think like you cannot, how do you say it? You are gonna think about the pressure anyway. Like,
yeah,
it's gonna happen. Like, you're a rookie getting moved to a tier 1 team in a top 5 HLTV ranking. And it's like, oh, this guy got moved up to a J2 to G2. If he performs bad, he's gonna be on a lot of hate and everything. It's like, basically, it's like Lake to M80. It's a
yeah.
rookie, no experience, promising talent, but no experience, no anything. So, yeah. The Lake thing is just a report, so no one knows. But as you said, it's lockdown, but roster lockdown, but yeah, it's like that. I would say, like, rookie, no experience, pressure, getting to fill some shoes. But mine is harder because I'm gonna be playing in front of a crowd. I'm gonna be playing top tier events.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be playing the majors and everything, and it's like pressure, of course. But I have to do my best. I need to be asking my teammates some tips to, like, for example, play on the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
to not feel pressure on crowd, to whatever land tips or whatever. Just, just asking them.
It's exciting, man. I mean, looking at this
Yeah,
next season, we were talking about yesterday, but it's like a whirlwind start. You've got the boot camp starting next week, or really the end of this week, and then it's Esports World Cup into Blast, into Cologne,
alone.
into Pro League, pretty much, with like maybe like
Yeah,
5 to 7 days off in between each one, maybe. Uh,
yeah.
it's a pretty jam packed schedule.
Yeah, it is for sure.
How are you feeling about that? About the aspect of like just how much more, I mean, there was already a lot of travel, right? In M80, you guys were back and forth to Europe all the time. But now there's, if anything, even more consistent competition and travel. And there's also just the fact that if you're in a team that's expected to make deeper runs, you spend more time at tournaments. Also, hello to the dog. I think I see a dog tail there.
Yeah, it was the dog, and then my sister came by. They just came back from school, but I'm not a travel guy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, right now, I'm of course excited to go to the boot camp, but I think about the travel I have to do, like Guatemala, then Costa Rica, then to Europe, then it's a lot of travel, and there's like 15-hour travel there, and I'm like, woo, 15-hour travel there.
Have you? Do you have the good pair of noise canceling headphones?
Yeah, I got the.
That's the necessity. That's the necessity. If you've got the noise canceling, everything else will be okay. Just make sure that's charged.
Yeah, I got some AirPods.
There you go. As long as you can survive that, you're going to be okay on the travel. But I mean, the flip side is once you're actually in Europe, you won't have to deal with being an NA team traveling to events where it's a transatlantic for every event. It's like
Yeah, that's true.
the first one kind of sucks because it's
Yeah.
Riyadh, right? So it's a bit of a schlep. But then like once you're in Europe, Blast to Cologne is like a 2-hour flight. European travel
Yeah,
days, no problem, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good part. But then I want to come back home, and I'm like, oh no, 15-hour travel day.
That one I can't help you with. That one's gonna suck.
Yeah.
We both know what those flights are like. That'll be a challenge for sure. Yeah, man. I think I feel like we're coming to the end of this year. I feel like we're coming to the final moment. I do have one last question. This is kind of about expectations for this year, and also kind of what we were talking about your stats being bonkers. Do you think HLTV top 20 mobs is realistic for this year?
I hope so, man. I hope so. Now with G2, I mean, it could happen. Maybe I can get some good stats still, even though I'm an anchor. An anchor.
I don't know. T side. I mean, if anything, I feel like you've had some ferocious CT side performances, but I feel like the iconic mobs moments are like entry space taking.
Yeah.
And you're still gonna be doing that, right? So I think Europe's in for a big dose of mobs.
It will be insane, to be honest. I will be so happy if it happens. I don't know. It would be insane. What can I say? Like,
yeah, I'm optimistic. I got some excitement, man.
I even in Dallas, I was like, I told the guys like, hey guys, imagine I make it to the top 20, and they were like, nah, I need to make it to the good events, and I'm like, it can happen, but they were like, nah, it's not gonna happen yet.
Now you'll
It
be
might
at the good
happen now.
events.
Yeah.
You'll be at all the good events. Yeah, man. That's a really exciting prospect. One last thing. We talked about the malbsMd before. You gonna malbsMd Europe?
Hell yeah. I've done that before, and I'm gonna keep doing it. Now
Hell
imagine
yeah.
Malbs and Nico on Nico rounds.
Yeah. Oh my god, that is actually terrifying.
Yeah.
Add in Monacy there. I don't think anyone's gonna it's gonna be sleepless nights against pistols for every other team.
Yeah. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be a good roster.
I'm excited, man. Congratulations on the move. This one is like, it is so exciting. I told you yesterday. I think I don't even know what else could happen that would make this not my favorite move of the year. But as someone who's been watching you for a long time at this point, since at least 2019, I'm so excited to see this. I'm so excited to see you take over.
Yeah,
man.
thanks, man. I'm super excited too.
This is much deserved, dude. It really is.
Yeah. I even go back to the Infinity times and just remember everything that happened. And I didn't even mention it because I didn't want to bring it back, but like I got super sad when I got told about Davies passing out. And yeah, I would have been so happy to tell him like, hey dude, I made it. I'm in G2 now. And even his mom messaged me like, hey, congratulations. You know that Santiago Davies is gonna be happy from up there.
That's That's
Yeah. That Fulson team, we were close friends. Yeah, we all got sad about Davies passing out, but it happens.
it was one that you just don't really see it coming.
Yeah.
Sudden thing. But I'm sure he's proud of you, or would be proud of you. I mean, it's
Yeah, thanks, bro.
It's a crazy moment, man.
Yeah.
Guatemala in a top 5 team, man.
Yeah, I even sent the message to my friends. Like I came here into the rankings and I'm like, oh, Guatemala number 6 of the world. And I even sent I did this meme on Twitter once with my stats.
Yeah.
There were like 4 soldiers and then a clown holding a gun behind the soldiers.
Yeah.
I was like that.
Now this is you in there. This is you in the squad. I mean, you mentioned it yesterday, right? Like the list of people who move from NA to EU, it's not large. It's like,
Yeah.
or even Americas to EU, right? It's like Coldzera, Twists, malbs.
And me. Yeah.
You're the next one up, man. That's a hell of a list to be part of.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, dude. I'm so excited to see how far you take it.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on twice. Look, this
I
guy's
gotcha.
so nice. He interviewed twice. Thank you, Malbs, man.
You're welcome,
I'm so
bro.
excited to watch you this season.
Thanks. Thank you.